Am I wrong for forcing my brother to buy me a new engagement ring? I, 26 male, am proposing to my girlfriend, 24 female, on our 4th anniversary, September 30th. I've been planning this for about a month and I picked the ring a couple of weeks ago. The one I got was on sale, so I managed to get it at a surprisingly low price. Last weekend, I told my brother, 33 male, about my plans and showed him the ring. He informed me that he was proposing to his girlfriend, 29 female, as well. The next day, my brother came to my apartment while my girlfriend was out. He asked me if he could borrow my ring to propose to his girlfriend. I thought he was joking at first, but no. His plan was to propose to his girlfriend, explain he was using my ring as a placeholder, and then take her to pick her own ring later. His reasoning was that he didn't want to spend too much money right away in case she didn't say yes. I've never heard of placeholder rings, so I said no and the conversation moved on. On Tuesday, he proposed to his girlfriend with my ring. He'd taken it before leaving my apartment. I got distracted at work and didn't notice it was gone until his fiancée sent a picture of herself wearing the ring to our family group chat. I called him to ask about the ring and he immediately apologized and said he'd keep his promise and give it back to me. But at this point, my girlfriend had seen it and his fiancée had posted about it on social media, so it was pointless for me to propose using the same ring. We fought about it, and he confessed that while he told his fiancée the ring was a placeholder, he didn't tell her where he had got it from. I felt more angry and betrayed about him going behind my back and taking the ring after I said no than the fact that he stole it. I also know his fiancée enough to know she wouldn't like to learn her engagement ring had been stolen from me, so I told my brother that I'd tell her the truth if he didn't buy me a new engagement ring. We fought again for a few hours, but he finally gave up and agreed. We went to a different jewelry store yesterday and I picked a new ring. I managed to stay in the price range, but the new one was still $100 more expensive. My brother bought the ring, but is still accusing me of being inconsiderate and childish. He is insistent he would have given me the ring back had I given him the opportunity, and I didn't need to threaten him to spend so much money on me. He's now refusing to talk to me. I don't know how I feel about this anymore. I usually talk to my brother about these things, and it's surreal that he's the one I'm fighting. I can't tell my fiancé, and many of our friends overlap. The only other person who knows about this is our mom, who's divided. She thinks what my brother did was wrong and I'm right to be pissed at him, but I didn't have to stoop as low as I did by threatening his relationship. So, am I the asshole? He stole your engagement ring. Stole. After you said no. But yet you're the childish and inconsiderate one. Make it make sense. If you wanted a placeholder ring, why not just buy like a fake one from the store? Go to Walmart. Buy like a $10 ring, easy Amazon, like that's the easy. I don't understand the need to like get a real ring that's still a placeholder ring.
Well, my dad threw up on me, so we've officially come full circle there. He's fine now, but several months ago, he had back surgery, and I went home to help because despite being a colossal disappointment to my parents, I am still the password child. And I never even wanted to be the password child, but I've already inherited all of the childhood trauma that comes with that, so I'm not interested in yielding the position to any of my siblings now that we're adults, and they're gunning for it. Like my brother and his wife just had their baby on my mom's birthday, and if that was not an attempt to dethrone me, I don't know what is. So I got to their house the day before the surgery, and once he got back from the hospital, my sister and I rushed out to help him get from the car to his bedroom because it's a very long walk for someone who just had invasive surgery, and he was on a lot of medicine. And after we're in the house, he said, "I think I'm gonna throw up." And I started to panic, and my sister said, "Don't worry, Daddy, you can throw up on me." And I was like, gross. And she just smiled at me smugly, like she just knew that our parents were going to be changing the Netflix password after that. But he said, "No, really, I'm about to throw up." And I was like, well, I guess I should do something since I'm the oldest daughter and I have to do everything around here. So I ran to his desk and I dumped out his trash bin and I held it in front of him, and it was much bigger than this. And I said, "Here, Dad, you can throw up in here." And he projectile vomited right above it. It was right in front of him, and he missed it, and I was covered in vomit and shaking and about to cry, and all I could think was, "You're the reason I'm bad at sports." But I didn't want to start crying, so I started laughing instead. And my sister started laughing because she just watched someone throw up on me. And my mother didn't see what had happened. And so she said, "Don't laugh at your father. This is really hard for him." And I was like, I'm the victim here. And I went and I took the longest shower of my life. And when I got out, my mom came to me with some cash and a list of groceries to go pick up, which was great because I needed to trauma dump on somebody. So as soon as I got all my items up to the register and the cashier said, "Hi, how are you today?" I said, my dad threw up on me today. And my sister said, Kate, don't be telling strangers all of our family business. And I said, why? He doesn't know our father. He's not going to see him shopping for apples and think that's the man who threw up on his daughter.
Am I wrong for causing a scene after I, 23 male, lost a costume contest to a dog? So one thing to know about me is I love Halloween. I love making costumes and put a lot of effort into it. So when I found out my friend was hosting a big Halloween party and said there'd be a costume contest, I was so excited. The costume itself had to be under $50, and third and second place would win $25 and first would win $50. I went as Zorro from One Piece and only had to buy $40 worth of material. At the party, I saw other costumes, and there were definitely some fierce competitors, but honestly, I thought I had it. When the winners were announced, I got second, which kind of bummed me out, but hey, I still did well. But do you know who won first place? A dog, dressed up as a pirate. If I lost to another person, I wouldn't have cared, but I did have a few drinks in me, and it was a dog. So out loud, I asked the host, really? The dog won? She responded, oh yes, and started gushing about how cute it was. Am I wrong for causing a scene after I, 23 male, lost a costume contest to a dog? That's when I told her because it's a dog, it has no say in what it wears and it doesn't feel fair. She told me to lighten up and it was supposed to be fun. I told her it's ridiculous she's about to give the $50 prize to the owner. Especially when they only spent $20 on a cheap Walmart dog costume and me and whoever was in third place actually made them. She got mad that I called her ridiculous and things escalated into a full-blown argument. My friend even had to break us up and I got kicked out of the party. I really don't think I'm wrong because obviously that's not fair. If it was a dog costume contest, fine, but having a bunch of people compete and lose to someone's dog is unfair. I truly feel like I was justified, but the people that were there said I should have just took the $25 and simply called it a day. I'm not gonna lie, I would probably be a little upset, but I don't know if I'd say anything. Just deep down, dang.
My husband, 28 male, is living with a female friend, and she, 22 female, has become hostile towards me, 23 female. My husband and I have been married for 3 years, and our marriage is on the rocks. It all mainly started after the birth of our first child together, in which he became increasingly irritable, aggressive, and sexually distant from me. Once he started to get physically abusive by grabbing and pushing me, we decided to live at different residences in a desperate attempt to salvage our marriage. That was 3 months ago. I'm currently living with my mom and I work part-time while also taking care of our 18-month-old son. My husband purchased a new condo with the financial help of his dad and lives with a female friend of his, 22 female, who he apparently charges rent. I was uncomfortable about his living arrangement with this woman from the moment I found out about it, mainly because we agreed that we are not taking a break in the sense of seeing others and we are still married and not going through a separation, but just trying to give each other, mainly him, space. I find it very weird that he has a 22-year-old friend who is comfortable enough to move in with him. Sussy. She has become very hostile towards me, which is strange because she's supposed to only be his friend and basically a tenant of his. For example, I went to visit him with our son and the whole time she was sitting near him and staring at me with hatred. When I asked if he and I could talk privately, she said, no, this is our place. And of course, this made everything awkward, so I just left shortly after that. I don't know why she would act so hostile towards me if she was just a friend and a tenant of his. My husband didn't seem bothered by her rudeness towards me either, and at one point I thought I saw him smirk. I don't know if I should be concerned that he and her have become more than friends, especially since my husband told me through text that him and I are still exclusive to each other. What is the best way to continue with this awkward situation? Girl, I'm sorry to break this to you, but that man is sleeping with her. There is no doubt in my mind that this man is sleeping with that woman.
Am I in the wrong for abandoning my daughter on vacation? My wife and I have always dreamed of celebrating our 40th anniversary with a luxurious vacation. Just the two of us, reliving the romance of our early years. We had it all planned out for years now, and we're excited beyond words. Enter our adult daughter, Jane. Jane and her husband got wind of our plans and promptly invited themselves and their 2 children, 9 female and 5 male, along. I originally put my foot down and told them that this trip was just for us, which upset her some. But my wife has a hard time saying no to Jane, as she is the youngest of our children and our only daughter, and she didn't want to hurt her feelings, so she reluctantly agreed to let him join. I wasn't thrilled about it at the time, but I wanted to make my family happy, and I knew that my wife was also okay with the idea of a family trip, even if she was heartbroken that we wouldn't get a romantic trip. We went along with it. The place we were originally going was not child-friendly, so we changed course and decided on an all-inclusive, family-friendly resort. We paid for the resort and our grandchildren's plane tickets. Jane and her husband only had to pay for their own airfare. Here's where things get complicated. As the vacation got closer, I started having a change of heart. I realized that our 40th anniversary was a once-in-a-lifetime milestone, and I wanted to honor it in a way that was true to our original plans. My wife and I might not be able to afford a trip like this again for quite some time, and it's something that we always wanted to do. So, without consulting anyone, I switched our tickets last minute to go to the romantic destination that my wife and I had originally planned for. I didn't tell Jane or her husband. I didn't even tell my wife until the day before our flight left, which was the day before Jane's flight left for their vacation. It wasn't an easy decision, and I feel guilty about it, but I wanted our 40th anniversary to be a special, intimate celebration that we had always hoped for. We called Jane after we landed to tell her, and she was extremely upset to say the least. She seemed to think that we were going to look after our grandkids so that she and her husband could have some alone time, and now that I abandoned her, they would have to do it all themselves. I hung up on them when my son-in-law started shouting, and my wife and I enjoyed the rest of our trip. They came back the same day we did, but have not answered any of our texts, and James seems to be ignoring me. My wife told me she vastly preferred our trip to the family trip that we would have taken, but she still doesn't like how Jane is mad at us and wants me to apologize. I'm not sure that I want to after learning that Jane and her husband were using us for free babysitting and a free trip, but I feel like I should just to keep the peace.